My dear pupils, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you for our social studies lesson today, whereby we are going to discuss about the climatic regions of Africa. But before I do that, I feel it is important to remind you on what you are supposed to practice in order to assist in curbing the spread of this deadly virus, corona, that kindly remain at home. But if you are forced by circumstances to leave your home, then always put on your mask. Something else is that please wash your hands regularly with soap and water. If you have sanitizers, the better. Avoid shaking people's hands, maintain social distance. If you feel like coughing, please use your toilet paper and dispose it immediately to the rightful place. If you don't have a toilet paper, then always fold your arm like that. You can cough or sneeze there and all will be well. Above all, let us continue praying to our God to intervene and give us a breakthrough in this. Now, when you talk about climate, climate is simply the average weather condition of a place observed over a long period of time, usually 30 years. So that is what climate entails. Now, the major climatic regions of Africa that we are going to discuss include the equatorial climate, tropical climate, Mediterranean climate, desert climate, temperate climate, warm temperate eastern margin climate, and mountainous climate. So those are the climatic regions we are going to discuss in Africa. Now, allow me today to start with the equatorial climate, and we would like to look at the characteristics of equatorial climate. My dear pupils, when we talk about the equatorial climate, this is where the equatorial climate is located, indicated by XXX there. This is the location of the equatorial climate. And when we were talking about the winds in Africa, we talked about this wind, southwest trade wind, and I said that this is the wind that brings a lot of rainfall to the Mediterranean, to the equatorial climate region here. So this place receives a lot of rainfall, and this rainfall is brought by the southwest trade winds. Remember, I told you these are what you call the onshore winds. Onshore winds, these are winds that blow from a water body to a landmass. Normally, these winds do carry a lot of moisture and therefore bringing rainfall to the adjacent land. Now, equatorial climate is found between latitude 5 degrees north to 5 degrees south. It is hot and wet throughout the year. The average daily temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. The annual temperature range is 3 degrees Celsius. There is a heavy rainfall of over 2,000 millimeters throughout the year. That is to say that this climatic region receives a lot of rainfall, because rainfall recorded of 2,000 millimeters is quite a heavy rainfall. The equatorial climate, in the equatorial climate, the type of rainfall that is received there is convectional rainfall that is always received in the afternoons, accompanied by lightning and thunder. Now, in equatorial climate, the sun is always overhead at noon, and there are what you call two maxima of rainfall. The one that starts from March to June there, and the second one starts from October to December. This is what we call the two maxima. Maxima is the plural of the word maximum. Now, this climatic region is experienced in places such as Congo Basin, east coast of Madagascar, Gabon, coastal parts of Liberia, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and Cote d'Ivoire, I told you, it's also known as Ivory Coast, and Sierra Leone, and also to the Lake Victoria Basin. So these are the areas where equatorial climate is experienced here in Africa. Now, allow me to talk about the vegetations found in the equatorial climate. The vegetations that are found in equatorial climate are known as equatorial vegetation, also known as tropical rainforest. So the vegetations found in equatorial climate are known as equatorial rainforest or tropical rainforest. Now, in this forest, the trees here are evergreen and they grow very close to each other because of the heavy rainfall that is received there. The trees in equatorial climate grow close together, therefore forming an umbrella-like feature known as canopy. The forest has very broad leaves and also climbing trees, or what you call creepers, known as lianas. The forest has the trees they do have what you call buttress roots with very broad leaves. The forest has little or no undergrowth. Why? Because this forest, I've said the trees grow very close together, and the trees do have very broad leaves, and therefore these broad leaves they they join each other, forming an umbrella-like feature. Now, this one prevents sunlight from reaching at the foot of the forest. And you know, plants do need, they need light to manufacture their food through a process known as photosynthesis. So because of light not penetrating up to the foot of this forest, you realize that there is little or no undergrowth because of lack of sunlight reaching the foot of this particular forest. Now, the forest is made up of mainly hardwood. These hardwood are such as mahogany, ironwood, camphor, obeche, muvule, green heart, elgon teak, rosewood. We have meru oak, ebony, and sampele. So those are the hardwood. And why do we call them hardwood? We call them hardwood because they take a long time to mature. It's not that maybe when you touch them, you feel softness, no, or hardness. It is only that these trees take a longer time to mature, normally 50 to 100 years. Now, we have a song about these trees or this forest, the hardwood, and the song goes this way. Hardwoodi ara mahogany woody, camphor obeche, mvule green heart, eligoni tiki, rosewood, meru oak, ebony sampele. Now, my dear pupils, we have successfully reached at the end of our lesson today. We have discussed about equatorial climate. We shall be discussing about other climates in our subsequent lessons. So I want to still advise you that you can replay this video as many times as you can so that you get acquainted by the information on equatorial climate. Goodbye.